Well, coming up in today's edition of The Play, storm damage at one facility is impacting several local businesses' distribution, and some tornado victims say they've been left high and dry after the May 19th storm. Now, joining me with these stories, more on these stories, is local editor Rick Green and business editor Don McCoy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, let's begin with the story of a Fort Sill soldier and his wife who have been sentenced in connection with a child abuse case. Rick, what can you tell us about this case?
This case involves a 10-year-old boy who starved to death. He was basically fed rice cakes and water and ended up losing much of his body weight and dying. A Fort Sill soldier was sentenced today to life in prison, and his girlfriend was sentenced to 30 years.
Wow. That's obviously a very tough case. That's not a fun subject to talk about. And so obviously there'll be a little bit more about that in the paper.
Yes, there will be on the front page.
Okay. Well, some residents in Bethel Acres say they're not getting the help they need for the May 19th storm cleanup. Tell us about this.
Yes, before the big tornado moved through Moore, the day before, there was a tornado that moved through Bethel Acres and Shawnee, and one man died in the Bethel Acres area in a trailer park, a 79-year-old man. And this trailer park is very slow to recover from what's happened there. They still have no water service, and a number of the residents there, and there's about 90 mobile homes there, have been complaining that they've just not gotten the services and the recovery they need after that very tragic tornado.
Okay. Well, many Oklahomans are still picking up after last month's storms, as well as a number of businesses. Don, the OK City Brewing Cooperative was hit hard during the tornadoes, but the damage has had an impact on other local companies as well. What can you tell us about that?
Right, there's several companies that brew beer inside this building that had heavy damage from that last storm that came through, the one that was bearing on downtown and just dumped a tremendous amount of rain. The roof collapsed, and it collapsed in the worst possible place right over these large stainless steel vats where they brew the beer. And when they got in there the next day, they were really discouraged by what they saw. And for their, I believe 3 or 4 companies, they're going to have to find another place to brew. And these are local companies that brew really good beer. And most unfortunate, perhaps, is that all the product that was in those vats was destroyed in this. So, but they're hoping to move on and start somewhere else anew.
I know, definitely a tragedy for beer drinkers around here, but obviously that's tough for the people who work there. That affects a lot of people.
It really does.
Yeah, all right. Well, you can read all of these stories in Thursday's Oklahoman and on newsok.com. Thanks so much for joining us for The Play, where you get tomorrow's headlines today. Thanks, guys.